You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And this is the last of the silly weeks. The weeks
Thank
where...
Fuck.
Yeah, there's no news. It's manufactured news. It's...
Well, some of it. The stuff we're going to talk about this week isn't manufactured so much. It's
vital.
Well, it's going to affect some teams.
Yeah. Well, and training camps are opening now. There are actual athletes being involved playing the sport we like to watch and gamble on. But it's a lot different when games are played. That's all I can say, and I can barely wait. But at least it's in my vision now.
Yeah, but how much... We'll spend more time preparing for our fantasy season than we will watching preseason football. I'll watch week 3. Only week worth watching.
I watch more than you. Just laying around reading a book. I'll have it on in the background. Because there are rookies I want to see. It worked for me with Alshon Jeffrey, who I still own in our fantasy league. I saw him muscle a ball out of a guy's hands, and I thought, okay, he's big, he's strong. I'll buy him for $1. And it's turned into a bargain. So, yeah, I don't study it. I don't consider it a game. It's like the people who go out to practice. It's no better than that. But I will have it on in the background.
See, I don't even do that. Not till week 3. I'll watch most of the games I can see on week 3. That's the only barometer of what a team's going to be. So, and they're getting close to cutting down all the scraps. And I'll watch Hard Knocks again, of course.
When does that start?
August 5th, I believe. And I won't be putting the promo up on YouTube again this year.
No. No, that year ban was ridiculous for a show that had already run that we were just saying was good and we're hyping. So we've had that discussion.
Yeah.
But I guess intellectual property trumps all.
Yeah, but okay, so how come some places, like I'm putting something on the website tomorrow. It's Lions tight end Joseph Foria recreating the history of the touchdown celebration. So he does like the Icky Shuffle.
Oh, kind of like that History of Dance YouTube video from a few years back?
Well, Fallon does them all the time. History of mum dance, or he calls them the evolution of like the mum dance, the dad dance, he's done a bunch. And just as a comedic thing, they make up some dances, do some that are actually legit. But because Foria last year, remember when he did the NSYNC one, the Bye 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 end zone dance?
Yep.
That was on a challenge from Fallon. He wanted somebody in the NFL to do it. And he'd donate $10,000 to their charity of choice. And that's why Foria did it. So the SI had, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because we were talking about intellectual property. SI gets him to come in and do this, and they film it. And then you can go to their site and watch it, but they also have a share link to embed it into your own site. So what was the trailer for HBO Hard Knocks that I put up. I'm not stealing their I'm trying to promote something for them, yet we got fucking banned from Facebook for posting something longer than 15 minutes for 6 months for first
from YouTube,
violation.
Not Facebook.
Or
right?
From YouTube, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm half asleep. It is 2 a.m. while we're recording this. After we had a 2-hour chat before we started.
Yeah, we got to tone that down just to stay awake, but
yeah. But yeah, so it just makes no sense how a lot of these sites will allow you to embed as a form of advertising for them, yet HBO puts in a copyright claim on it, on the fucking trailer. Like, and it was like 4 months after it even fucking aired. Show was already over.
Yeah, and all we were saying was it was great.
Yeah. Well, the reason I put it up is because you couldn't find it anywhere. I was looking for it, and it took me like an hour searching on the internet just to find the trailer last year.
And this is the same network that delights in announcing that Game of Thrones is the most pirated show of all time.
Well, of course. That gives them advertisement. But like, if I was putting full episodes up, yeah, okay. You got me. I put up a fucking commercial.
Yeah, your own commercial, produced by you, with no negative commentary by us.
And it had 50,000 hits.
Well, that was the problem.
50,000 hits. So that's 50,000 people that are looking for your show. So why wouldn't they put it on YouTube themselves?
You know what? I bet it wasn't HBO. It was HBO Canada, because we can't get that show, even though I pay for HBO, in this country.
Yeah, well, it's not Canadian content. They'd have to cut something else.
Well, you know, How I Lost My Virginity in Winnipeg, or one of the other great CanCon products.
I was actually gonna say They Call Me Fitz, but that was a good show.
No, I enjoyed that show, but in
Jason
any case,
Priestley is a depraved fucking.
We both actually pay for HBO. That's the really irritating part of this. But when we watch Hard Knocks coming up, we're gonna have to steal it.
No, we're not stealing. We're creatively exploring the internet.
That's right. We're doing research for this. It's really an academic issue.
Well, we have to be able to discuss it on the podcast.
Exactly. It's academic. It's research. But yes, I shouldn't have used that terrible word. But again, I still don't understand why that show is not available to me, a paid HBO subscriber in Canada. All right. So even though this is the ridiculous season, there is a big piece of news that came out sort of over yesterday and today about the suspension to a running back for the Baltimore Ravens. You might have heard of him, Rice. 2 games. What do you think, Boyd?
Well, apparently you're better off knocking your fiance/wife out than you are getting a DUI or getting pulled over with a blunt in your car. It's fucking ridiculous. Roethlisberger got 6 fucking games for allegedly doing something. They have videotape of Ray Rice fucking knocking her out. That's never been released to the public, but the casino had a video camera in the elevator, which every casino has. So we just saw the footage from outside the elevator when he dragged her out. There's footage of her getting knocked out in the elevator. And he got 2 games.
2 games, and he also had the press conference, which was one of the worst I've ever seen, where his wife, fiance/wife, was hauled out and said, well, maybe I hit him first.
And she sat like...
You know what? My 3-year-old nephew occasionally punches me. That does not allow me to cold cock the little motherfucker. Right?
Well, how does this even... I don't even know how this works. How can you give him 2 games? What's some of the other suspensions we've had? Like, Justin Blackman's suspended indefinitely for drugs.
It's an interesting question. He has an issue, marijuana. But yeah, exactly.
It's legal in 2 states, medically legal in half the states, at least in the U.S. now, or very close to half if it's not. Yet he's suspended indefinitely. They've got a huge issue with HGH and steroids in the NFL. They get 4 games for that. Irsay hasn't even been fucking suspended yet.
Well, no, because that has to wind its way through the court system.
So
And Roethlisberger, it was your best example right there. I mean, I'm not going to defend Roethlisberger as a human being, but there was, to my knowledge, he did not do anything criminal. He was sued in a civil court, which, let's face it, happens every day to people of prominence with money. That court case, as I recall, was summarily dismissed for nothing. But you're right. Was it 6 or was it 4? But in any case,
6.
It was 6. Like, this is ridiculous. And though I think that Josh Gordon and Justin Blackmon have substance abuse issues, those should be treated as a health issue.
Yeah, not a suspension.
Yes.
You can't play till you go through rehab. That's your suspension.
Yes.
And then you're piss tested all the time.
But there are thousands of people in the world who smoke dope on a regular basis and perform their jobs really well. It's a moral issue is what the NFL has made it. It's
a marketing issue. It's a marketing issue. Don't want to scare the whites that watch our game, that spend all the money in the corporations that want us to fucking be squeaky clean, when the NFL is no different than the rest of society. There's guys that have problems with alcohol, drugs, prescription drugs, wife beaters, DUI guys. It runs the fucking gamut. They're still people. Just because they can play football, it makes no difference than the doctor that's a junkie, than the lawyer that's a drunk, than the fucking all these other professions where all this shit goes on. The fucking ditch digger that's fucking doing meth on coffee break. It's no different.
But there's a ridiculous tiny percentage of people who will go, "Oh, how dare you, my son looks up to this person as a role model. How can he be allowed to do anything?" It's the wardrobe malfunction bullshit all over again.
Parent.
And whoever asked the NFL to parent your child?
No, but here it's the Tiger Woods syndrome. They want to trot you out so you can make as much money as you can as the squeaky clean image. That's all the NFL's worried about. It still comes back to cash. Ray Rice's story will be gone in 3 days or tomorrow. Nobody will even fucking talk. Well, no, it'll hang on for tomorrow. But after the weekend, they won't even fucking talk about it. The next time you'll hear about it is in a preseason. No, he can play in the preseason games. The suspensions only count in the fucking regular season. So it won't be talked about again until you see him in a preseason game and then when they start the regular season. Now, the thing that gets me, and I don't know if anybody's made this comparison, I'm sure they have. I haven't seen it anywhere. But if he was blocking someone and went for their knees, he'd get just as long a suspension.
No, I had not.
Like, that's fucking a criminal act versus an act on the football field, and the act on the football field. And if he took a shot to somebody's head, targeted the head, he'd probably get 4. He'd get more for knocking out a man than a woman. Defenseless woman. When you're 220 pounds.
And a pro athlete who is
physically gifted.
Like,
it's
okay,
ludicrous.
Here's the comparison. I mean, we saw Jay-Z get attacked by Beyonce's sister in an elevator. What did he do? Was his first response to knock her the fuck out? Or did he just put up his arms, fend off the blow, and wait until the crazy woman was restrained?
Or until he got into somewhere where there was no camera.
Wow. That's a little bit of projection on your part, I fear. But
no, but it comes down to brains too.
Well, yes, but
like
you don't...
No, but Marlon, you're in a casino. What does every sane human that's ever been in a casino know about a casino? Everything but the hotel rooms and the shitters are cameras.
Oh, I know, but nevertheless, what he did was
not
knock her out and then do a press conference to say, well, she hit me first.
No, but okay,
that's why Jay-Z is really smart.
No, but that was my point. The brain power of an athlete isn't always the same as a man that's made $1 billion. Okay?
Yes.
So even if
but there's the
even
response.
If
even if you're being attacked, you don't knock the woman out.
No, but Marlon, even if he's thinking and trying to cover this up, do you drag her out into the lobby? You've knocked her unconscious in the elevator. When the door opens, do you drag her out? Or do you hit the button back to your floor? And go back and drag her back into your own floor and room.
Let's not break down the proper way to handle beating a woman unconscious.
But it comes to brains. I'm not defending him, but it comes down to brains too. Like, no thought at all of the consequences. Nothing. Like, most people, when they do something that fucked up, are scared and of people finding out,
and you've done something terribly wrong.
He just dragged her out like
some level of contrition.
Yeah, he just drags her out like it's, bitch, we're going to the casino, whether I'm dragging you there or not. That's my point. Not that, he should have planned this out better. It's usually when you do, that's cold-blooded what he did. When you no thought of consequence or anything, you just carry on with your life. Come on, I'll drag you out. You'll come too. Like,
well, let me break it down.
Which brings me to the point of, this isn't the first time he's hit her. You don't just one day all of a sudden become a wife beater. You either are or you aren't. It's like, to me, it's the same as being a cheater. You're either faithful or you're not. And if you cheat once, you're going to cheat again. So you don't just one day, she pushed me to the edge and this is the time I snapped. Never. And
do you apply that to Warren Moon?
Yep.
Okay.
Guaranteed this marriage went off without a prenup after that. Almost fucking guarantee it. She got something out of this still marrying that cocksucker.
Well,
other than just the ring.
That press conference was one of the more sickening things I've ever seen.
Well, it was staged. And she wanted no part of it, but she signed on for the money, see? And that's the other problem. Like, that when you get knocked out in the head, how could you marry that cocksucker?
Yeah.
Like, sue him.
Well, because from the elevator, too, it wasn't like she was stumbling. She was knocked the fuck out.
No, he dragged her out like a fucking caveman.
Yeah. Point I wanted to make is this is criminal. Like, not only offensive, this is truly criminal. But to go back to where we were going, marijuana use is in a really gray area, both morally and criminal throughout the states. But the punishment is massively more severe for smoking weed than knocking your wife out. Yep. We've been here before. And I do think both Josh Gordon, by his recent actions, and Justin Blackman have serious substance abuse problems. But as I said, those are problems.
I don't think, Josh Gordon's might be worse than Blackman's. I don't know if Gordon's is the booze. Because to me, booze is worse than marijuana.
Absolutely, and
I honestly don't think Justin Blackmon has a drug problem. I think he has an NFL problem. Because the NFL wants the squeaky clean image, and they won't let you get caught smoking dope. If he was a guy driving around on his day off from his regular job and he got pulled over with a blunt in his car, fine. He'd get a fine. Blackman's not going to jail again. He's not going to jail for getting picked up for having a blunt in his car. He'll pay a fine, whatever. It's not like...
It's a misdemeanor.
If he had a bag of coke in his car, drug problem.
And a couple of handguns.
2 blunts in his car? In this day and age? Who gives a fuck? I'd rather have him smoking a blunt than pulling off a 40 a jack. It's less harmful to himself.
Well, yeah, I don't like people driving high either.
No.
To be honest.
But they didn't cite him, Marlon.
It's altered.
He didn't get cited for driving high.
Well, that's because they haven't figured out the laws and the testing process. That's what that gets down to. But
I would take a guy driving high over a guy driving drunk.
Yes, I would, but it's irrelevant. The punishment is not commensurate with the crime here at all.
No, okay, the guy from the Cowboys that killed his teammate driving drunk last year is already out of jail, and the Cowboys may bring him back. So it would be interesting to see his suspension if the Cowboys decide to bring him back, or if anybody tries to sign him.
Or, I don't know, driving on a whole bunch of Oxy, like the owner of the Colts. What's his suspension going to be?
Well, they say it's going to be millions of dollars in games, but...
Millions of dollars is like me paying a parking ticket when I know I'm going to get a ticket for $40, but it's just way more convenient to suck up the fine. Like, that's a bullshit penalty.
Yeah, but what can you do? Like, nothing seems fair to Irsay, or a fair punishment, because it's not, it's not going to affect his day to day. But for these players like Blackmon,
you just removed a man's career, any chance for him to redeem himself.
And when are they going? And what do you think he's going to do when you take football away? Once you've already taken football away for weed, you think he's going to stop smoking weed after how he made his living is gone?
Well, yeah, it's a health issue. Like, you may think it's less severe than I do, but
it's not a health issue, dude. It's not.
Addiction is a health issue.
It's not an addiction.
It seems to be for him, because if you have $2 million dangling in front of you and you can't stop smoking dope, then I think that the drug has taken control of you.
That's not the argument.
Why not?
Because there's lots of guys that are making $12 an hour get fired for smoking dope.
I don't see how that connects.
It's more a lifestyle choice than an addiction with weed.
Yes, but if...
It's not.
Okay, answer me. If someone said, okay, you smoke weed, and I know you don't, by the way. So you're making a devil's advocate argument here. But if someone said, okay, give up the weed and I'll give you $2 million, and you still don't give up the weed, then I think there's a problem.
Nah, it's
If
not.
the penalty is so severe or the reward's so great, yes, I think that's indicative of a problem.
Nah, I don't. To me, it's more of a civil liberties thing at this point.
That's not how he was thinking.
No, but well, how come nobody's fucking challenged it with the medical side of it yet? I use it because I get headaches. I use it because it helps with my aches and pains, and I don't want to become addicted to fucking prescription drugs.
Because the NFLPA gave all that shit up, like they gave up everything else in the last deal.
No, but I'm not even talking about the PA as a player. When they suspend you, challenge it on that basis. Say it's legal in these states, medically legal in X number of states. Yet I, as a player, can't use it as. So if I'm if I play for, well, there are no NFL teams in California, but say I play for the Seahawks and it's legal to buy dope there. Does the league rule supersede that? Or does it become unconstitutional it'd be like suspending them for drinking? No?
I'm not sure.
Is that the wrong argument?
No,
well, no, but it's a legal substance in Washington State.
And in Denver.
So is it...
But you also reach an employment contract with your employer that says you cannot smoke dope. And if you legally enter into that contract, that supersedes the state law because you have willingly entered into this contract.
Yeah, but would it be challengeable in a court of law? Yes.
As a civil liberty,
you could challenge it. No,
maybe.
It wouldn't.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it might be, and you win, and you set a precedent. It's over. It's over, Johnny. Somebody's got to be the guy.
But you're blackballed forever.
From who?
From the NFL.
I'm not talking a fucking guy that's 52nd on the list.
Who else is...
This is our problem. No balls. Nobody has any balls. Teams don't have balls. The owners of the teams don't have balls. The Players Association has no balls.
Oh, no, they really have no balls. That's the worst of this. The NFLPA, I think, is arguably the most corrupt, most inept organization that is theoretically representing the players, but it has been this way since 1969.
Now, okay, so now I would agree with you in the past under Upshaw, but your union is only as strong as the members, and the players will not stand up and unite. Like they have so much power, the NFL players. It's the biggest money-making sport entity on the planet. And do you think the owners want to waste a year of no revenue? They capitulated way too fast in the last agreement.
Absolutely.
They have all the you're the product.
No, but and we discussed this before during the lockout. The problem is the players can't go without the paychecks. The owners can. And the players will never have the balls, particularly the bulk of them. You know, there are the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Bradys, the
Marlon,
people who put their money there, but all you need is 51% to approve the deal, and there are 51% of these people who need those paychecks because they've got no money.
The average salary, so we're talking about the bottom 10 on the roster, is basically what we're saying. Because the average salary is $3-4 million. Listen, the average salary is $3 to $4 million, and I know it's skewed. It's
70% of them go bankrupt.
Skewed somewhat by the large contracts. But that's not just the guys that were the 42nd guy on the roster making $1 million.
But there's
lots of guys. Vince Young's broke. He made $35 million. Marlon, it has nothing to do with how much they made.
That's why the union will never have the power, because at least 70% of the players in the union need that paycheck now, and the owners don't. the union will always lose this argument because, it would really hurt them, hurt the owners to miss that $100 million income that they probably net minimum. But
that's their TV
do you know
money.
what it would destroy?
Their TV money is $130 million.
So the owners will always win this argument. So there will never be any fucking balls by the players.
You don't think some of the owners are leveraged to the balls?
Name one.
Jerry Jones. That stadium was $1 billion, dude. You don't think he's leveraged? He doesn't own that fucking team. The bank owns that team. The bank owns the Cowboys. If
really
they go
good
sideways,
example.
if they go sideways for a year or two, what about the fucking Raiders? You think they're fucking flush with cash? Like
but ultimately, it doesn't matter to them because if they really get cash strapped, they're sitting on $1 billion asset.
Yeah,
there is no team in the NFL that would sell for less than $1 billion.
Oh, there's lots. Yes.
No.
Jacksonville ain't selling for $1 billion. Titans aren't selling for $1 billion.
Absolutely, they would. There would be buyers lined up for $1 billion for those teams. Look what they're talking about with the Buffalo Bills for their franchise value. It's absurd. Is there a team? They have the longest streak of being out of the playoffs. They have no actual market. They may or may not move to Toronto. And we are talking roughly $1 billion minimum to buy that team. Who's worth less?
Well, there's going to be market corrections at some point.
Why?
Because it's ridiculous. There will be. It's like anything else. There's bubbles in everything.
No, they're correct. I mean, they may have cash flow problems, some teams, like the Cowboys. But the Cowboys are worth $2 or $3 billion. Easy.
Well, the players have to do something.
But
when
they
the owners
can't.
when the owners are making $130 million just off the TV deal, and the salary cap's not even $130 million.
Oh, I know. But they
That's
gave
just
it all
TV.
up. Once
that has
again,
nothing to do with
like I thought
revenue
when Maurice Smith came in after Upshaw, which you've heard me rail about for as long as I've known you, really. I thought maybe now we'll see some fucking balls. But what prevents the owners too? Because they had the uncapped year that was suddenly a secret salary cap year. What's the penalty for the owners? The players cannot win in the system when theoretically anyone could sign whatever they wanted. And by the way, bravo to both the Cowboys and the Redskins for actually treating it like an uncapped year.
Yeah, but
and then they were
fined
by the league.
No, but did they speak out against it?
They have, and in fact, both of them filed suits.
And then withdrew them.
Well, because they got spanked by the cabal that is the ownership group.
Yeah, well, that's my point. But, yeah, it's...
How do you fight that as the players when most of them sign a deal for $750,000 and suddenly leverage that into $4 million of debt and go bankrupt? How do you expect that collective group to actually marshal the power? The only way this would change, like by your lawsuit concept, is if Peyton just said, you know what? My neck hurts. I smoke weed to deal with the pain.
That was part of my point.
That's the only thing that's going to happen. Okay.
When I said the players have no balls, is that there's nobody of profile that will stand up and risk maybe losing $1 million or $2 in endorsements by standing up and saying, this is what we need. I'm going to challenge this. Our athletes have no balls. They have none. Curt Flood, who was one of the top outfielders in the baseball in the 70s, refused to trade from St. Louis to, I think it was to Philly. And he ushered in like players' rights. But he was done. Career over for taking a stand on that. Done. There's nobody like that anymore.
Well, we need a star. A legitimate motherfucking
There's
star.
not one. There's not one that's willing to give up fucking anything. Brady's worth probably $250 million. He wouldn't give up fucking shit. Manning's probably made $2.
Would he do it on principle? Okay, so you're talking like I don't think Peyton Manning or Tom Brady is a weed smoker.
It's got to be big. Big, big, big. And then the public will get behind it and the players will fall behind it. If it's Chris Kluwe and the gay rights thing, which I think the Vikings are fucking him on.
Oh, yeah.
No, who's getting behind it? There's not one player in the NFL has come to stand up behind him. They're all saying, oh, he was the guys on the Vikings team. Oh, he was more interested in the fucking press. Like, give me a break. And this is going to be my transition into, and this, I hadn't thought of this when we discussed our topics before. But of all the personalities that get fired for saying the wrong thing, you know, is one way you can survive? You can say whatever you want as if you've come out as a Christian. You can fucking say whatever you want. And they won't come with the fucking posse to fucking cost you your job. Because what Tony Dungy said and what he believes are... And he said it publicly.
No, I disagree with that.
Fuck that.
I've read the transcripts of both of those.
He's a fucking homophobic, fucking Bible-thumping cocksucker, is what he is.
All right.
Well,
break that down a little more.
When you say, I would never draft him because of the distractions it would cause... And then when he comes out to clarify and says, I meant the media distractions, when he's come out and publicly said in the past that he disagrees with the homosexual lifestyle, how can it mean anything else when the distraction? Well, okay, so using his fucking logic, he wouldn't have drafted Johnny Manziel. But that's not the case. It's not the media distraction. It's the gay distraction. And if there's anything more, he did everything just short of basically saying faggot about Michael Sam. Only he's a Christian and he's forgiven. Like, he can just fucking... now he's walking. It's over. And for all his Christian stuff, Michael Sam's gay. He doesn't want the distraction, but Michael Vick wasn't a distraction in Philly. Coming out of jail after he mentored Michael Vick. But if you're gay, don't apply.
That's good.
Because my 3,000-year-old book fucking tells me that gay's bad.
That's solid.
Like, fuck off. Tony Dungy's a fucking dickbag. The holier than thou types have driven me nuts my whole fucking life. And it's for reasons like this, because they can say stupid shit that makes no sense. You know what? Yeah, he was drafted in the 7th round. And I don't know if that had anything to do with him being gay or his combine rating.
I don't think it was
my guess is,
I think there were reasonable, like I read non-homophobic analysts just saying he's actually probably just not that good.
Okay. But let me ask you this. Regardless of what his metrics were in college, or how many times have you heard, well, he doesn't really look that good in fucking drills, but he's just a football player. When's the last time an SEC Defensive Player of the Year went in the 7th fucking round? Gay, straight, pink, black, white, orange, fucking yellow. I don't give a fuck.
Actually,
even he would have got drafted
Barnwell
the
had
3rd or 4th
two
round.
examples. But
yeah, in how many years?
there is a precedent. But
okay. In this day and age, where did it was co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year? Was the other one drafted? And it's not like Michael Sam was playing at fucking Oklahoma or Alabama.
he was playing in the SEC.
Yeah, but he was playing at fucking Missouri.
But
He wasn't. My point is with that is he wasn't surrounded by fucking 8 first-round picks on defense that made him look good. So the man can play football, and usually teams in the 5th or 6th round, they're taking a fucking flyer.
Yeah.
And he went 7th. I'm not saying he should have went in the first 3 rounds, but an SEC Defensive Player of the Year going in the 7th round, I'm saying 5th would have been, I wouldn't have batted an eye. 7th? You're getting into where you can question what the fuck's going on. And when you got dickbags like Dungy spouting what he spout, half the fucking NFL is the Bible thumping variety. So that's okay. You can be a Bible thumper, but you can discriminate, but that's God's will? Give me a fucking break. It drives me fucking insane to have to listen to this shit in this day and age, and Dungy's gonna skate.
Well, okay. I'm working off what you're saying here. So, if that had been the first black player drafted, would Dungy have found it acceptable that someone dropped in the draft because of the media attention if you had drafted a black player?
Well, I read a great fucking in the comments on, I think it was Deadspin, somebody put, or no, it was actually an ex-NFL player in a tweet, and I was going to write it down, and I can't remember who it was, but he said, sounds like the same position you were in 20 years ago when you were trying to become a head coach.
Well,
As the first black head coach.
well,
Distraction. All this shit. So how can a man that went through that and that discrimination even say something remotely fucking close to this?
No, you are so incredibly right on this point, Boyd. Why do you care about the media distraction if your goal is to create a good football team?
That's your job to let that not be a distraction.
That, in fact, is part of your job as a head coach. To deflect, not care about media distraction, to draft the... Fuck. Amazing, Boyd.
It's insane. Like, that would be like
you know
saying,
what?
well,
I was willing to let him skate on this, but no, that was fucking brilliant, Boyd.
No, but to say... With his logic, he should have stepped aside at the Super Bowl. When he could become the first black head coach to win the Super Bowl, he should have just fucking walked away and let his assistants run the team.
Yeah,
he would have
because
too
all
big a
of this
distraction at the
attention
Super Bowl.
was way too much media attention.
No, but just for being the first black head coach in the Super Bowl.
Well, I know.
That's too much attention. That's a distraction from your team because they're asking you about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking insane. Every team is under the microscope. Doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. The NFL, pro sports, is the ultimate fucking democracy to me, or it should be.
Meritocracy
All that matters
is what you want
to
say there.
Right. Thank you for the correction. You're 100% correct. But with that being said, like, you prove what you can do on tape or on the field, and it's measurable. So either you suck and you get cut, and I have no problem if the Rams cut him, That's because he wasn't good enough. There's lots of guys get cut. And there's lots of gay players playing in the NFL that are really good. And you know why they don't come out? Do you know why they don't come out? It's fucking idiots like Dungy.
Yeah,
because that's the guy that's fucking determining your fate on a team. So,
or like the douchebag from the Vikings,
that Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Well, and this is, to me, that's as bad as Bountygate. He got 3 games.
Yep. And he lied. He lied to the investigators and then fessed up when other witnesses came. Like,
it's incredible.
Like, that's unassailable. Like, I honestly believe, looking at that, I would have paid the new punter less and dumped the old punter. I would have cut Cluey too in that situation, but when it blew up and the coach who was the center of the controversy during a regime change lied to the investigators?
Why wasn't he just fired?
Exactly.
Any hint of evidence, just fire. Well, like, it's not worth the problem.
Lying to your own internal investigation until confronted with new facts?
But he got a 3-game suspension from the team.
Oh, I know.
Why didn't they just fire him?
Who is this guy? And
his special teams coach? How many are that great? Really? Honestly, they fucking.
Why does he have the job? And this is in Minnesota, which is one of the most liberal and forward-thinking communities.
Yeah,
right?
Jesse the Body was the governor. Jesse the Body was the governor.
No, it's one of the most highly educated states. It's got super liberal policies. It's like part of Canada, for God's sake.
It's, but if you want to know why guys won't come out, because you got idiots like that working in the league, you got idiots like Dungy spouting what they spout, and they control your fucking future. So if they think like that, who's coming out?
Yeah, and this is Dungy, the dean. It's like, yeah,
and he writes those fucking spiritual books. He writes spiritual books, for fuck's sakes.
You know, those black players, they're a bit of a distraction.
Okay,
there's a lot of issues. If I've got the same white guy, he's a little slower, can't bench quite enough, but then I've got this guy with dreads. Well, you know, that guy with dreads is going to create a distraction.
Yeah, he might have a posse that hangs out with them. He's got...
Maybe he grew up in South Central. Some of his, guys he grew up with might have been in gangs.
Yeah, look at the Deshaun Jackson shit.
Exactly. You saw where I was going, brother.
Like, it's ridiculous that you can say that in this day and age, and he's going to skate. NBC firing his ass? Fucking Pro Football Talk was, Dungy explains. So tomorrow, Dungy's going to expound on his statement. And then he blamed it on the media. Oh, I wasn't saying Michael Sam would be the distraction. The media covering him would be a distraction. Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's like saying when Clinton got caught with Monica Lewinsky's lipstick on his dick and he said, it depends what your definition of is. That's as fucking stupid as that his explanation was.
Yeah, that was utterly beautiful. The Clinton explanation is one of the great uses of semantics ever. But
the what?
Semantics.
No, what?
The Clinton explanation on the blowjob, what is that you referenced. I still admire that just as a piece of art, really.
Well, it's wordsmithing, and Dungy was doing the same thing. And he'll skate. One, because if you call him out, you're racist, which I'm not, and I'm calling his fucking ass out.
Fucking comment.
But if you challenge him on it, then you'll be classified as a racist.
Yeah.
Right? You can't win. And
Daniel Schneider uses that all the time from the Redskins. Anyone who attacks him is an anti-Semite. It's bullshit. No, we're attacking what you actually say.
Yeah.
And do.
And I'll be honest, I'd never liked Dungy to begin with. He always seemed kind of smarmy to me. And he was a Colts head coach, and I hate the fucking Colts. So there's that built in too. But I've never went off on him on a podcast or anywhere else. He was fucking... I didn't think he was that big of a genius.
Are pretty good.
I didn't think he was a coaching genius. He left that fucking cupboard bare in Indianapolis.
No, but he left the cupboard. He left the cupboard full in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but bare and fucking for a year. He got pushed out a year too soon.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Now, I want to say one other thing just quickly, going back to Ray Rice, because I forgot to mention it during his portion. We always talk about the NFL Network, and we think, they let Rich Eisen do what he wants to do, and they have some kind of autonomy on content and all that stuff. Putting up a clip from the NFL Network from today discussing Ray Rice's suspension, saying that Ray Rice now has to deal with the iron fist policy of the NFL. 2 fucking games.
Again, the only guy I like on the NFL Network is Rich Eisen.
Right. But I want to
hear what he has to say about it.
He won't say fuck all. I give ESPN credit. On their website, they're hammering it. And they're in bed with the NFL as much as anybody.
Well, who isn't a partner with the NFL at this stage?
Yeah.
Eisen, as far as I know, has been on vacation for forever. Eisen doesn't mince words, and he, in his past podcasts, since, the videotape came out, has been vocal about how horrifying the videotape of Rice hauling his wife out was. And his attacks on the press conference were blatant.
Okay,
I'd like to see. So
he might be the only one.
But
he might be the only one because they have.
We'll have to see. We haven't seen what he's done yet. But I'm just saying, I kind of trust him to actually say something about this. I do not believe he will be quiet.
No, he's the only one with enough juice to say anything.
Yes. The rest of it is...
Because there'd be
Pravda, man. It's fucking Pravda from the Soviet Union. Anyone who ever goes to NFL.com or deals with them in any way, and this is completely off topic, but they're now offering buy-in fantasy leagues with prizes, which, to my mind, constitutes fucking gambling.
It is. No, but they'll say
now
it's
they're
a game of skill.
offering it.
You know why they do it? You know what? That'll be their thing around it. It's a game of skill.
The NFL is only against gambling if they're not getting their fucking 15 points.
Yeah.
They're so full of bullshit.
Yep.
Anyway.
It's brutal, man.
All right. I did have a segment of Cleveland City of Light, City of Magic set up, but I think we've run a little long here.
Well,
I'm going to save that for next week. No, we're going to get into a discussion when we get into it. So
okay. Sorry, buddy.
No,
I brought up Dungy, and I hadn't even thought of it before until we got into Rice and everything, and then it popped into my head.
No, that's cool. It'll stay, and Cleveland always gives me new topics every podcast. But we will talk about that. It involves urination. So, for our next podcast, look forward to it.
And, okay, so starting 2 weeks from now, is it 2 weeks from now we're doing one?
Yep.
10 days from now.
August 5th.
August 5th? August 5th will be our next podcast. And from that point forward, we will be doing a podcast weekly through the preseason schedule. Then beginning at the start of before the start of the regular season, we'll be doing our podcast on Monday. Will be our recap show for the week. Tuesday, we will be doing our point spread and betting lines and making our bets. So you have them up so you can use us as a either bet against us or bet with us barometer. And I guess that would start after week 1, our Monday podcast. Yeah. Because we have nothing to recap before that. So, but that's our schedule. So 10 days from today, or no, 11 days, 12 days, whatever the fuck it is. August 5th.
Do the math yourself.
We'll be up 12 days, whatever. Well, it's already the 25th, so 11 days. August 5th, we'll be up and betting on preseason games. Yay. And then we'll go, once the season starts, we'll be going twice a week, Mondays and Tuesdays. So look out for that. And I can't wait till the Hall of Fame game. 10 days. Football in 10 days, people. You know it's going to suck, but I'll watch that. I'll watch a little bit of that. Yeah. Better than the CFL. All right. If you want to check out our podcast, search for us on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device. Our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines or on our personal accounts at OLinesMarlon and at OLinesBoyd. Facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And that was Offensive Lines.
Tony Dungy's a dick.
Degenerate fucking gambler.